Thanks so much for staying with us on this Thursday morning. We're now into Beyond the Headline segment where we get on the go and keep moving with Flo. My very special guest is already on the Flo WhatsApp line, and I will bring her on shortly. But Katie, let's just give you some background information, St. Lucia, on the issue that we're about to zoom in on this morning. School students have been the target by criminal elements within the society, in particular school students within the Castries basin. They continue to be targeted by criminal elements. There has been a proliferation of such attacks over the past few weeks, expected to increase as we move closer to the Christmas season. So we want to be proactive here to assist parents, school officials, and students as well in this very concerning time and disturbing time as well. Students have been robbed of their valuables, and in some cases they've also been injured. There's need for sensitization for both parents and the students of the look in the front. So today we will discuss the issue of crime, how it affects and impacts our student population, particularly in the city of Castries and ahead of the festive season. My very first special guest on Beyond the Headlines this morning, the president of the National Principals Association, who is up rather early today, Mrs. Valerie, St. Helen. Good morning, and thanks for waking up early. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Sorry. Hi.
Yeah, we give you a minute. She's just adjusting.
Technique. Yeah. Just
She's
okay.
almost with us. The president of the NPA, Valerie St. Helen, Henry, will join me to discuss the issues right now. You're on. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning,
Nice to have you
Sheldon.
on.
I'm happy. Yeah, happy to be here. It's early, and I am always happy to be part of this program, despite the time. But I'm
Nice.
trying to. Yes.
We're warming up. We're warming up. We're waking up. Thanks for coming, and we always are a pleasure to have you on as well. Let's begin. How pervasive is this problem that we speak of? Students being attacked, robbed of their valuables. How serious is it?
I think it has these little incidents would happen once or twice in the past, but it has increased, and it's at an alarming rate because sometimes some are reported, some of those incidents are reported, and we get to know about it. There are lots of little things happening around, especially within the Castries city, and it is concern to us, not just the schools within the Castries city, but the secondary school students who loiter around. They find themselves in trouble, and those troubles affect the school because sometimes it's they are in school uniform, and it reflects the school, and it gets into the schools because sometimes the children are involved in more or less little gang activities. We know that some of the incidents that have happened around the place, some of those students are involved in gang related activities, and it comes into the streets, and maybe sometimes it goes into the schools as well. So it is of very concern to all schools within the Castries basin.
Let's talk some specifics here because it's very alarming now that you draw in reference to student involvement in gangs. What are some of the
Yes.
recent activities that you've seen which is cause for alarm?
Okay, well, I can tell you, being the principal of the Ave Maria Girls Primary School, I mean, we sometimes are alerted the students running after a group of boys, running after a group of boys. We see knives flashing. We have seen that boldly. They are very open with their activities. Um, and especially the fact that we do not have police patrolling as frequently as they should. And they seem to be hanging around between the peripherals of the Ave Maria School, Mikud Street, especially the corner of Mikud Street and Brogley Street, along those areas. And I am aware, even as far as Blue Coral, there are a number of little incidents, fights, and they do have their weapons. And apart from that, we also have persons who have been robbed, students being robbed. They carry their phones, their devices, and they are held up and they are asked to give up their devices. And it has happened along, and not only students, adults as well, involved in those little incidents.
Yeah, there was one recent incident which could have ended in a fatality. A young boy, student of a secondary school, came to your institution to pick up his sister.
Yes,
he was robbed of his valuables and also stabbed.
He was stabbed. He got about 6 stab wounds because the mother of the child, the daughter, she called because the child was not able to come to school because she was traumatized, and the parent indicated that she's keeping her at home. And yes, she said that the doctors told her that he could have died maybe if he had not gotten to the hospital in time, all because of a phone. And he was not interfering with anybody. He was simply there with his sister waiting for his mother to pick him up. So sometimes you do have the gun related, but you also have those innocent people, just students, other adults just hanging, going about their business and being under attack by criminal elements.
Yeah, six stab wounds. Wow.
Yes,
very bad of a situation. There is need, Mrs. St. Helen, for students to become teachers as well, and other school officials to become more vigilant and street smart, you think?
Yes, definitely. I think one of the things, even as a city school, we are encouraged every school term to at least have 1 or 2 drills at the school. We have, the drills could be fire drill, it could be earthquake drill, but now our focus is now more on like a lockdown drill. And the lockdown drill is in the event of, say, an intruder. So within the city, we are beginning to focus a little more on that kind of drill, because we do the earthquake, the fire drill, and the tsunami drill. These are some of the more common ones that we will be practicing. But when I, for example, within my school, like the Ave Maria school, because we do the drills together, we have Ave Maria Infant, Ave Maria Primary, and even RC. We are beginning to think that we need to sensitize the teachers and the students as to what ifs. There's an intruder. What if there's I recently saw something yesterday happening in Trinidad where somebody went in and was firing. I saw a video of a teacher in a class trying to get the children to lay flat down and keep quiet. We need to start preparing for something like that. God forbid. I hope and I pray that it does not reach our doors. But when I watched this video and I shared it with the teachers, I mean, these with just the knives and the running outside, we've seen persons run into the school after another with knives and maybe with a gun, you never know. So we need to be on the alert, and the drills, practicing safety drills as it relates to intruders, attacks. We need to have this awareness, because everybody needs to play their part. They need to know what to do in an event like this. And sorry to say, it is scary. It is very scary. And I can say my teachers, they are on the alert for that. Things that we were a little lenient with in terms of our gate policy, we have to start screening thoroughly we have even these things we have mentioned to the Ministry of Education for years. We have what the daytime watchmen, they are caretaker watchmen at some of the schools. Some of the secondary schools, they have what you call a watchmen, gatemen, then you have caretakers. But at some of the primary school, because of lack of resources, you have one man who is doing the job of caretaker, meaning that he has to go around and clean up the yard, clear the garbage in place, do stuff, and then he also has to man the gate. So you find this person has to spend more time by the gate, and we have to find other ways now to ensure that the other aspect of taking care of the school surrounding is done at times where it's the peak time, where it's not the peak time. So you find the being by the gate is critical. You know, sometimes the teachers would ask, can we lock the gate? But it is against policy to lock a gate. They are not advising that. Yeah. So the gate has to be closed, but not locked. So these are some of the things, the challenges we have to face in terms of ensuring that we keep ourselves, the students and the teachers, safe. So the awareness of safety is there, and it is inevitable. We need to focus on that, despite the lack of resources, that human resource that is necessary at this time.
Yeah, it's very frightening, Madam President, that the current reality we live in now, students, teachers, and even school officials are not safe. A school traditionally always is out of bounds for criminality, but now you see it now being a major concern for the student and the school population. I'm happy to hear that you're being proactive in discussing and looking at drills within your school and talking to your students and teachers as well. Within Castries, there is maybe an opportunity for tight-knit collaboration with all the schools, because you basically have neighbors, so if you see a familiar face, you can share that information to other schools. Talk about that.
Yes, okay. Well, within the Castries basin, we do network with the RC Ave Maria Brother Sister School. We work together. We have identified the need for the principals, along with the district education officer, to more or less have a consultation with the city police and the police, Royal St. Lucia Police. We are working towards meeting with them and to look at how we can find ways in ensuring that we are the safety of our students, our school community. And I think that's one way to go. I want to also say we do have cameras at our schools. That was done recently. Some schools on island we do have the cameras to monitor, but I mean it can help, but you cannot be sitting watching a camera all the time. It sometimes can assist with intruders during the night. For example, recently there were footages going around of the RC school where two young boys, I would say young men, were at the school. They broke into some rooms, they took cash, they damaged locks, and the watchmen were on the compound, but they were able to find their way because of the way the structure of the school is. So they were able to still do what they came to do. However, after the fact, the videos were able to provide evidence, and they were able to circulate it around the schools, circulate it to the public. And I hope that maybe the police can be able to identify those guys and hope that they are caught. But the networking is important in terms of the schools within the Castries city. We do network, and I must say the watchmen network as well. They do the networking. Even in the evening, they check on each other, they make contact with each other. So it's there, but again, sometimes the criminal elements might be a little step ahead of us. We don't know, but we are hoping and praying that with the help of the police, a little more money, patrolling. We used to have at some point the Castries relation branch. They would do their driving around, and they would stop and ask, what are you doing here, and ask them to leave and so on. They need to do more of those patrolling, and to increase the security around the schools in the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very, very good recommendations and proactive move that you have some schools equipped with CCTV technology. We hope that others can benefit from that as well. And I'm happy that you went there. I was about to ask you your recommendations, so what more the police can do to assist in this situation, because we know there are limited resources, but you don't want them to be everywhere. It's a matter of being strategic, key places at key times, correct?
Yes, I think so, and it's consistency. I know in the past we've had a meeting with the police and put things in place, and after a while, you just see they disappear, and it's like they're reactive. We are too reactive instead of being proactive. Mm-hmm. If the criminal elements are aware that we have tightened the security of having the police around at every little corners, walking around, not just standing, and being there, being present and showing presence, not just standing there, because I have seen some police officers being ridiculed as well. Some may be afraid of fear for themselves or don't want to react in a way, because now when you do see, people using their videos and taking pictures of it, whatever is happening. This is an in thing now. So they have to be mindful of how they approach, how they react, because sometimes the footage may see what happened then and not what happened prior, Mm-hmm. So there are lots of little things that we need to really come together as a community to be more strategic in terms of dealing with those criminal elements, because they are always a step ahead, and we cannot allow that to happen, because they will just take over and we will just be victims. It may end up in death. We do not want that. Absolutely. And we at our school, for example, we have after school activities, after school lessons. We had to reduce on the time. So instead of ending at 5, because now it's getting dark very early, we have to say 4:30 cut off, because we want the children to be out there and to get home in time and to be safe. Because this is what is happening. I can tell you, the fear is there, especially with teachers. They are afraid. I mean, teachers in the city schools, the school is like their second home, and so you'd come at Ave Maria, you'd find a teacher there 6, 7, sitting, planning, putting things in place for the next day. I can tell you this. I mean, up to yesterday, I'm looking. Certain doors are already closed. They've closed their doors and they've left. This is because of the fear, and it is a genuine and honest feeling right now.
Yeah, we can sympathize with the teachers and school officials now that they're extremely fearful. That's the sad reality. That's our St. Lucia. We hope for the best, but that's the current day reality.
Yes, I think from I know at our last meeting with the Ministry of Education, generally in terms of school security and safety, they indicated that they are going to do a comprehensive review of school security. That's just within the schools, but we still need to work alongside with the police in terms of what's happening outside, so that it does not get into our schools. And that is critical, and that's urgent as well. Very urgent.
Very urgent.
Very urgent.
Madam President, let's talk quickly about student involvement in gangs. Because it appears that while some criminals just look around the school plants around schools and target students at random, but it appears though that you have some students who are at schools involved in gangs, alerting members of the gangs who are not students to come to target specific members of the school That's a big problem that's emerging now.
Yes.
How can we begin to nip that in the bud?
Well, I think the some of the schools are aware. I mean, there are searches happening at schools. The searches at the secondary schools, I can tell you, I mean, some of what is found when the searches are done by the police with alongside the teachers and the principals is scary. And some of the cases that they deal with, sometimes it's crossed from one school to a next involvement, one boy involved in some situation with another boy, and it's linked, they are aware of the names of those gangs. I don't want to say them because I have no proof of it, but the names are known, and the students themselves share those information. And it is something that each school, especially at the secondary school, need to have an awareness and alert. They have to have a very close relationship or rapport with the police. There are times the police have to go to schools to pull out certain students who are involved in certain situations. So the communication with the police, again, the police is at the center of it all because they are the ones who are there to keep law and to keep the law at persons, ensuring that persons obey the law and to maintain calm and so on. So the communication with the police, each school should have that relationship. However, we can say all of this, but we are leaving out a group of persons who are supposed to be the ones we should be consulting with, the parents.
I was just about to go there.
Key factors, key persons. You understand? We have situations where children are found loitering. Children are out in the communities or in the city in their uniforms and late. And when the police take them in, you know what happened? When the parents are consulted, in some cases, the parents said, oh, they gave them permission. So that ties up the hands of the police. Some of them are very smart, you understand, in terms of they know what can happen to them in the event that your child is found out there and so on. So they know what to say. However, the school community need to have the parental involvement in helping reduce some of those situations in terms of the guns. And schools need to have, workshops, parenting workshop, having meetings with the parents, targeted meeting with specific parents, because I know some of those parents are working. Mm-hmm. It's beyond them in terms of the monitoring and ensuring. And this is where the problem lies. When the students get to a certain age, you hear the parents saying, oh, I do not know what to do. I'm tired of talking. And you can imagine if the parent of a child is saying that, what is left for us to do? That a parent's hand is like throwing up their hands in the air. I do not know what to do with him. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of doing that. So there's a lot of outside agencies that need to play their part with the school, with the homes, in the community, reaching out to those vulnerable parents that need the support. So it's a whole community of the school, those agencies out there, human services, vulnerable unit departments, the police, the parents, the PTAs. We have to really come together to see how we can give support and how we can help mitigate those situations that are slowly, not slowly, but they are in our schools and we have to deal with them. Situations that 10, 20 years ago that we didn't have at such an alarming rate. We need to come together to work on that.
November, December, as we move into the festive season, we expect traditionally it's a busy period for criminals as well. Your final message, warning, alert to students, parents, and school officials as we close.
Well, we need to be vigilant. We need to tighten our security measures. The students need to have an awareness of, we always tell them, when you going out there, move in groups instead of being, single. So we ask the students to move in their little groups to get to their homes, get home safely, go straight home. The police need to increase the number of police officers on the city circuit so that we can curb whatever crime that is intended to planned or intended to happen. Presence, the police presence, and again tightening security at our school gates and monitoring, screening, observing, sharing, networking. These are some of the things we need to do, and we hope that we can have a smooth end of school term with incident free, no deaths. Our students will be safer as we move into the festive season.
Yeah, that's
and even when they are home during the Christmas vacation, a lot of things happen as well. We want to ensure that they are safe.
Yeah, that's our hope as well, Ms. Valerie, St. Helen, Henry. We'll bring you back again before Christmas to share greetings to the student and teacher population. But it's always a pleasure having you here. I know you have a busy schedule ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, and all the best to you and your crew. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You stay safe. Let's now share that video from Trinidad and Tobago. Yesterday, it went viral across the media. And if you think it's in Trinidad and it's not a reality here, you think again. Crime has pervaded and it's knocking at the doors of our schools. This morning we are alerting parents of the threat, particularly in the city of Castries. Some alarming things have been happening. Let's take now a look at what happened in Trinidad live until yesterday.
Be quiet, children. Down. Be quiet, children. The other side is answering back. Aisha, down. Children, keep down. Keep down. Shh.
Frightening scenes there from Trinidad and Tobago. Should we not be thinking of procedures, protocols? How should students and teachers react in the event of shooting incident in and around the school during school time? Should we not begin the discussion now? My next guest, a district education officer, will come in on what's happening in and around our schools and how we should prepare for any eventuality. And later, I'll speak to an attorney at law and former advisor on crime and security right here as we sound the alert, sound the alarm. Frightening times, not just in St. Lucia, but across the Caribbean. We are being proactive here on this platform. The new course to discourse, just about 4 minutes moving down past 7 o'clock. We'll be back in just a moment. This has been the first installment of Beyond the Headlines.